Hi, my name's Andrea Wallace, and I was 20 years old when I lost my daughter. She had been in the NICU for 7 months at the time. Her name is Ella Jane Eisenhart. Today I'm not here to talk about her life. I'm here to talk about endurance, and I'm here to talk about suffering and the glory on the other side of it. I'm not here to talk about the testimony of her life today. I'm here to talk about the testimony of what happens after death, after suffering, what comes from it, and the glory that is to come. I forget what Bible verse it is, let me find it. Romans 8:18 says, "For I consider that the sufferings of this time are not worthy to be compared with that future glory which shall be revealed." The suffering that you are going through is nothing compared to the victory on the other end of it. There is no victory without suffering. There is no victory without suffering. I'm not in a place to talk about her life. I want to do that justice, and I want to have the time to sit with that. What I am confident about is what happened after. Let's start with the day she died. After 7 months of driving back and forth an hour and a half to the NICU while being in school, living with his parents, we had her room set up, ready to go. She passed away in the NICU, and Hunter and I drove home that night. I had ordered her a Patagonia sweatshirt or jacket because it was getting cold, and we drove up, and when I saw the package sitting out, I knew exactly what it was, and it sucked. In the moment, I would have said that it didn't, that it was, oh, no big deal. Oh, no biggie. Like, I knew this was coming. But yeah, it sucked that her jacket that I had just bought her is sitting here, but she's not here anymore. And she's not coming home to this place anymore. That night, the one thing I could keep thinking of, too precious for this earth. And I truly think that is one of the most beautiful sayings I've ever heard in my life, and a big comfort to me on Ella's life. That night, Hunter's family and I just sat and went through the pictures from that day and just talked and had dinner. It wasn't a normal night, absolutely not. But we went to bed that night. I woke up the next morning, Hunter was still asleep. Hunter's mom was on the couch, and I went out there and I just laid on her lap and sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. And the idea of waking up to a new world without her was what was there. Going through grief like that puts it into perspective that nothing we have is guaranteed. Nothing. Nothing we have is guaranteed. That night, all of our friends came over and we played hide and seek in the woods. The things that we do. And genuinely, it was so much fun, and such a testament of the way that those people loved us through the hardest thing in the world, the hardest thing we've ever been through. We had her funeral a few days later, and there was 100 people, more than 100 people at a funeral for a baby that no one ever met. And that is just the testament of community and people that loved us, that I can't begin to think in a way, or I can't even begin to. I feel so unworthy. I feel so unworthy of having that many people be there for us and be there for Ella. She's worthy of it, but that day is the closest to heaven I think I'll ever be until I get there one day. After the funeral, after all is said and done, that was about 5 days later. It's okay, now what? I was in school, Hunter was in school, we had our friends. I woke up every day not knowing what was gonna happen every day. I didn't act like I was grieving, because to me that meant failing. That meant giving up. That meant giving up to me. Waking up and acting a certain way that you're expected to act as a mom when you lose your daughter felt like failing. It felt like giving up. For the next few months, I'd wake up and I didn't act like a grieving mom. I was seeing my friends and I was going to school. No, things weren't normal. I would spend days and days in bed. But mentally, I refused to quit, and I refused to give up. And I said, I'm not gonna let this suffering, I'm not going to let the suffering win. I'm not gonna let the pain win. You hear stories of mothers and fathers who lose their child, and that after they die, their life goes away. That's it, and they go down a certain path. And I refused to let that be the truth. And so I kept living. I kept living, and I was surrounded by people who supported and loved me in the darkest point of my entire life. It was like starting over. We had this entire plan of what was going to happen once Ella came home, of this is how life is going to look. This is how things are going to be. We had accepted it. That wasn't the original plan. The original plan was to go to college in the traditional route, get a job, get married, have a family. We got pregnant at 19 and 20 years old, and that turned everything around. So we adjusted. Then she had her trach, so we adjusted. Then she died, so we adjusted. We didn't let any of those things be the end all be all. We had to adjust. We had no choice. Things weren't going the way we wanted them to go, so we adjusted, and that was next. Again, we were adjusting back to life that we had before, but it was nowhere near the same. We were different people. We were parents. We were mom and dad. We were parents without a child. We were students, we were friends, we were daughters and sons, but with a completely different heart. From there, I knew that I wanted more with my life. And I knew that Ella's life was meant for more than just those 7 months. For my entire life, I was scared of being uncomfortable. I hated being uncomfortable. But I had been uncomfortable for about a year. I started working out and I hated myself. I hated myself so much at the time. And I said to myself, if I can get through that, I think I can do this. I think I can. There was not even a limit to it. I just said, I want to see what I can do. It wasn't even, I want to lose weight. I want to be able to run. I want to be able to do these things. It was, what can I do? Because I didn't know that I could do that. I didn't know that I could be a full-time student with a daughter in the NICU, an hour and a half away, and make it through. I didn't know that I could be a full-time student and lose my daughter and order my Aggie ring on time. I didn't know that I could do those things until I did them, until I tried. And that's another thing, is that everyone would tell us, take a break from school. Take a break from school. Are you sure? Do this, so that you don't have to do it all at once. And my response was absolutely not. There was no doubt in my mind that we could do it all. There was no doubt in my mind that we were gonna graduate on time. I was gonna graduate on time. There was no doubt in my mind that I could be all of it, that I could be a full-time student, that I could graduate on time, that I could be Ella's mom. There was no question about it to me. People would ask me, oh, are you sure you don't want to take a break? My dad, Hunter's parents, out of love, of course, were asking me this. And to me, it didn't make sense. I was like, why would I do that? I know I can do it. And I've kind of always been that way. I've always, until someone tells me to turn it down, I don't see a limit. And that a lot of times for so long I saw as such a negative thing, because so many people told me it was a negative thing. And I've finally started to love that about me, because it's gotten me where I am. I was able to be all those things and do all those things that I weren't even a thought. It wasn't even like, oh, maybe those were just things that happened and not things I ever thought I could survive. So now the question is, okay, what else? What else? What else can I do? So I ran a marathon. So I lost 45 pounds. Now I'm running an ultra marathon. Now I'm starting my own business because of the mentality that comes with not quitting, just showing up. All I did during those 7 months was show up. All I did after she died was show up every day. I just didn't quit. All it takes for you to get your dreams is to show up over and over.